to the Becomingwwo podcast, where we interview young, extraordinary people, youth entrepreneurs, and talk about relatable topics for the youth. I'm your host, Wawa,
And I'm your host, Ona.
and today we're joined by
Kayden.
welcome Kayden. May you please introduce yourself?
My name is Kayden Scholes, and I am the founder of Triple R.
So can you please tell us what is Triple R?
Well, it stands for Reduce, Reuse, and Recycle. It's an environmentally friendly business.
Okay, so how did you start the business? What inspired you to start?
Well, in grade 7, when I first, Saving the Turtles era,
Yeah.
I decided, my grandpa came to me and said, well, you should try to do something about it.
Mhm.
And then with everyone doing those reusable straws, I made a low-cost metal straw with a small pattern on the side of it, and it's stainless steel, so it's durable. Then from there, it just started progressing, and then I had other interviews and pitches, and then it just grew.
So, before the whole Save the Turtles era, were you ever interested in environment?
I was, but I was also just interested in business. Like, I really enjoyed having a business, something that I made for myself, and then you just grow. It was one of the things I really enjoyed. And then the environmentally friendly things, I was always into it. Like, you know, at school when they have that whole thing, like in assembly, when they say, oh, you have to be environmentally friendly and all of that. Then I just found a love for it. And then my business was a start to actually helping more than just what I did by myself.
So you started the business in grade 7.
Grade
right?
7, yeah.
So how did you come up with the name? Triple R.
It was more of a no-brainer, like I just thought of it. It was more R straws,
Yeah.
but then we found out that it was too hard to say, so
Yeah.
then Triple R came in play.
Okay.
So with the metal straws, right? Like, are those the only type of straws that are good for the environment?
Well, the thing with metal straws is, say if you lose your straw, then it's bad for the environment because metal takes a long time to break down. Then you get your glass straws, which are same like metal straws, but they also aren't as safe as metal straws because if the glass breaks, then it's bad.
Yeah.
And then you get your bamboo straws, which are also, well, those are the better options because it's from nature. And then you get your plastic reusable straws, which are the bad ones either way.
So what type of straws do you do? Do you only do metal straws or do you have other types of straws?
So we have the metal stainless steel straws. Those are good because they're durable, they also fashionable. We have 3 patterns, 2 that I can sell. And then you have your glass straws. And then there are the plastic straws, but I'm not too keen on selling those. And then there also are your straw cleaners, so it comes in a whole set.
Okay. So with these straws, right? Are they hard to make?
Takes about 5 minutes to make them, another 5 to make sure they look clean. And then 2 minutes for my mom with quality control.
So aren't metal straws or glass straws like unhygienic? Because let's say it doesn't come with a cleaner, doesn't it make the whole thing unhygienic?
So with the metal straws that I have, they're stainless steel, which means that they are resistant to rust. So when you use the straw, it's durable. It won't have any rust inside of it. And then in terms of washing them, if you don't have your straw cleaner, you can just pop them in the washing machine. And then it's fine. Cleans perfectly.
In the beginning of the whole business idea, like, were they some straws that did not work and then some straws that did work? Like, how long did it take to get that perfect?
Well, I was actually lucky because my grandpa suggested the materials that we could use for it. And then on about the 3rd straw, we found out a perfect way to make it. And then I realized that after making a few batches and all, then I got really annoyed because it didn't all look the same, like some of the different lengths and all of that. So then from there, the next few batches of that, it became a lot better. and then eventually with practice I can make it by myself.
What's the right length of a straw?
One that fits in the glass.
Okay, so like, what are some challenges you faced while making the straws? Like, did it become lumpy too much, or did it? What are the challenges that happened?
Almost trying to make them perfect. All of them the same length. All of them, not too sharp at the bottom or the top. They are straight, which was the hardest part. And then keeping them so if you were to try to use the straw, it's not too sharp, like you can cut yourself. So that would come with sanding it. But then some of the times, like the material I used, there'd be a few lumps in the tube, so then you had to just scrap it. And then also it's very quick to make them. Finding time to make, say, 500 straws, then that becomes time consuming.
So what stainless straws, is it only like the silver color, or can they be different colors?
Stainless steel, I'm only used to using the silver color, well, the steel color.
Yeah, this
But then the way to change it from just being steel is the patterns you can put on top.
Okay.
So, what advice would you give to like some people that want to start a business but like are too scared to start one?
If you have a passion, like a very big passion for business, for what you want to do, then start it. And it's not the fact that you have a passion but you're too scared to start it. If you have a passion, you want to do it. And then from there, you can find help along the way. Your parents are your best friends. They help a lot. And then also, you find people that have the same ideas as you, and you find a whole community that wants to help you with your business. Same with me, when I first started, I had my passion, and it just progresses. So starting grade 7 for fun, my passion. Grade 8 was my pitch to my school's Shark Tank, Stallion's Den. And then from there is to this podcast, which is fun.
Okay. So the whole pitch, right? How scared were you doing it?
I forgot the whole pitch at the beginning. Yeah, it didn't go too well. And then I had to watch the recording back over on YouTube, and then I realized that I didn't move at all. But in my head, I thought I moved around the whole stage.
So, like, the straws you make, right? The glass ones, they are the length. Does it have to be like a certain length, or can it be like long? Do you do customizable straws? Yeah.
So with the stainless steel straws, those are the main product. The glass straws were a idea that I'm trying to work with. Just haven't found the time to see, like, test it and all. And then with the stainless steel straws, those you can choose. So there are 3 patterns. I have them over here. There's your grey pattern.
Okay.
And then there's the red pattern. And then there's this one.
Wow, these straws are so nice.
Yeah, they're pretty. Very pretty.
They're so beautiful.
And then the patterns, do you just like get them at a store and then you just...
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
But then, see, when I was getting them, some of them don't stick onto your stainless steel. And then testing with that was also really hard. Like, the dishwasher, sometimes they don't wash off. So that was a hard part.
So yeah, another question is, are your straws like dishwasher safe and stuff?
Yes, they are tested.
Oh.
My mom tested.
So when it comes to business, right, have you ever felt, I wouldn't say embarrassed, but kind of like you didn't want people to know about it?
Well, I mean, in the start, I had the idea and all of that, and you just try to sell it to family, and then the family buys the bulk, and you're like, oh, so cool, but don't have to sell to anyone else. And then you realize that if it's that easy to sell to family, why don't I go to school and try to sell it? And then you get people at school buying bulk. And then the next step is finding platforms, which was my Stallion's Den interview and the pitch. And then, yeah.
So, how do you like manage the business time and then your time and then school time? How do you have that management?
So for me right now, school takes priority, and then I have my sports, which is my provincial sports and all of that. and then it comes to me time, and then my business. But now I'm trying to put the business like a little bit into the me time because I find it really fun. So it's not like a nag to do it. I just end up wanting to do it. But then, what the problem with that is your time. Like I have my school, sports, get home, homework. Weekends is the only time I have if I'm not studying for a test. And then it comes to, okay, the one night I decide to make, say, 10 straws, decide to put my spreadsheets together, decide to do something like that, but then the next day I'm completely busy and then I can't. So then that doesn't work at all. And then, yeah, sorry. And then the next day it just doesn't work well, and then you find that you can't continue, and then you have to stop, and then start again, and then stop, and it gets really annoying.
So did you kind of like sort of fall out of love for your business?
I always loved the business. I just didn't love that I had no time for the business. Because when we want time, we can do anything we want. But then the thing was, I was doing academics at the time, like focusing on my academics, which wasn't too time consuming, but I was trying to make sure I was like at the top. And then I decided when I got to college, I wanted to do sports. So then I found the love for a lot of the sports, and then I ended up making some first teams, and then it was academics and sport. And then keeping the academics, doing external sports, and then in the back of my head I'm like, I want to do work on my business. And my grandpa comes to me, because I started with my grandpa, he says to me, so how many have you made right now? And I said, I'm just surviving school right now.
So, do you sell any other things than straws, or is straws the...
So the business RRR Straws is your reduce, reuse and recyclable straws. That is my startup business. That's what I'm working on now. The whole idea is to make a e-commerce platform called Triple R, which again, you reduce, reuse and you recycle. But those products are going to be your solar power banks, because you can use it the whole time. I'm looking into making one of those disposable battery banks. But the problem with that is, in the current world we live in, people are going to chuck them on the side of the road. And then the straws are a small thing and here and there, but it's the main point of something can be recyclable, right? But then people can dispose of it wrong. Something can be reusable, which is, in my opinion, the best thing here. Like if you look at Woolworths, they now say you have to buy the material bags because they are reusable and they don't use plastic anymore. And sometimes it gets really annoying because they overcharge on the paper bags or material bags, which it's also really good though. And then reducing things are like what I'm doing now, reducing the use of plastic straws.
Is stainless steel easily scratched?
Nothing that you can really notice. But the idea is to give a packaging that once you're done using the straw, just chuck it in. It's going to be a microfiber cloth type packaging. So then it dries while it's in there.
Okay, so do you have a platform where the viewers can find you, or where you're selling your things?
So currently I'm not active in selling my product. In terms of social activity, this is where I'm at now with the interview. And then further along the line, I'll come back here and do another interview when things are going and started.
Okay.
I think so. If it wasn't for stainless steel, other environmental stuff, or if not from environment, what other things do you think you would have done?
So the whole point of what I'm doing now is not really just, it's saving the environment, but if we look at where we live now, in South Africa, right? In those townships, in Deep Slots and all of that, if you go there, would you say 50% or like 90% of the people there like have a business with them where it's formal, as in they go to work, they do all their stuff, and they come home and they can relax, watch TV and all of that? In my opinion, it doesn't work like that really. And in terms of education in South Africa, look at our public schools. We have to, Breadful Buddy, right? It's where you make your like sandwiches and you donate them to other public schools. So that there is because those schools don't have any food for the children. You can't learn if you don't have any food in the system. So my whole point is education-wise, at CSR, which is your corporate social responsibility. The whole point of that CSR part is I want to go to townships, say, I teach them things, I can give them a job, I get them to make my straws, get them to be part of my business, I pay them and they make my straws for me. That's helping that's helping South Africa, number one. And then number two is another part in CSR, is just giving out environmental things. I mean, in all businesses that are JEC listed, you have to have a level of CSR. And then also when I look for investments, if a company invests in me, that counts as a CSR for another company. So my business prides itself in CSR. So whether or not it's my straws or all of that, I want to help South Africa really.
But don't you, so I don't know, do you think that people aren't really into the whole save the environment thing because everything that involves save the environment is pretty expensive?
Yeah, so you get the people who say save the environment, but they don't actually really want to save it. They just say it because that's the whole trend. Like the save the turtles, you get people saying save the turtles, but they know nothing about what's actually happening. So you see, saving the environment is the thing with my business with saving the environment is that you get the businesses that are profit businesses. They make they sell their metal straws for 30 rand, 45 rand. You get your bamboo straws over 50 rand. You get your plastic straws and the casing and all of that, 50 rand. And then the thing that makes my business different to those businesses is number one, I have my stainless steel straws, same product that they have. Number two, it's a bit different to that. Number three, maybe the quality of this is a lot better because it's factory made, but they sell it for around 30, 45 rand, which is too expensive because if, say, their whole goal is save the environment, right? But then they're selling it for profit, it doesn't really help. What differentiates my business today is I can sell my straws easily for 5 rand, I can sell them for 250. If I don't want to make a profit, it's 250, done deal. And then I don't need the profit, I'm just giving out what I want to do.
I think that's very important because I feel like a lot of people that say save the environment really don't follow what they preach. So I really like the whole motto of your business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most environmentally friendly things are like honestly like very expensive. And they want to save the environment and then the things are expensive. So it's very nice to have you like there having the reasonable priced ones.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us on the Becoming with Wawa and Ona podcast with our special guest, Kayden. We will be back next week with another inspiring interview. Until then, keep working hard on becoming your future self and keep up with us by following us on Instagram at Becomingwwo.
And once Kayden is actually active on all social media, we will interview again. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment any ideas you would like to see on the show. But as for now, it's a bye from us.
Bye.
I'd like to end it off with saying, help me help make a difference. Thank you for interviewing me.